welcome to Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. I am your host, and today I'm going to talk about you are the reality behind everything that is you. All of it. What the hell does that mean? Sounds like a very cool thing to say if you don't really understand what it means. But that doesn't really matter. That's what I'm here for, right? So, what does it actually mean? It means behind everything is a cause, no matter what that thing is, right? And I had an example with fireworks. I thought it was quite cool. You see a firework burst in the sky, you literally burst in the sky, right? And then you wonder, well, quite simply, there's cause and effect here. What's the cause? What's the effect? Okay, well, from a three-dimensional point of view, the cause was you going and lighting the thing. And then the effect was it bursting in the sky. Cool, right? But then what if you backtracked it? What if you actually decided, hey, what if I backtrack this entire linear experience and backtrack it to an actual cause? What if what I think is the cause in three-dimensional experiencing is not actually the cause in three-dimensional experiencing? So we just backtrack it slightly, right? Well, why did you want to light the firework? No, because I love the feeling of watching lights in the sky. Or why do you love that feeling? I just feel good when I see it in the sky. Where does that feeling come from? It's like, I don't really know. It just looks pretty. Yeah, it just looks pretty to you. It looks nice to you. It looks exciting to you. It feels exciting to you. But where's that come from? It comes from it. Okay. It comes from being that. Okay. So it's a cycle, there's a loop. So basically you're saying the effect makes you feel, and then the feeling causes the effect. So where's the beginning point? Exactly. There has to be a cause and effect for something to happen. So the cause can't be you lighting it, because now you said the effect was the cause. So you backtrack it further and says, well, no one told you how to feel about that. You just felt about that naturally. That inner knowing that, hey, I feel good about this. I'm going to cause this. I'm going to unfold this idea within me where it explodes in the sky. Is you focusing on the version of yourself seeing fireworks exploding in the sky, the light and lighting it up, right? You are the cause as consciousness knowing, hey, this excites me. I'm putting my attention on this. You got no real conditions and requirements and circumstances to go and do that. Just to imagine fireworks in the sky, right? You don't really care when, you don't really care how, you don't really care why. You just like the feeling of the experiencing of that, but the bang, lights, excitement, rinse and repeat, right? And this brings me to the scripture that I was going to go through today, which is Matthew 13:12. And by the way, I'm just using the scriptures because they're quite the succinct way in explaining reality creation. You can use any scripture you like from any religion. I'm quite sure they point to the same thing, having read quite a bit myself, right? So, for to him who has will more be given. Right? Please forgive me for reading it slowly. It's quite a tongue twister. And he will have abundance. But from him who has not, even what he has will be taken away. Now, if you read that from a three-dimensional point of view, it does sound like if you have, you get more. If you don't have, you lose it. You lose what you do have. Makes no sense. But it does make sense from a metaphysical point of view. Even from a 3D point of view, you understand that this makes sense, but you don't understand how it makes sense. It makes sense if somebody else is dictating to you, as if there's a higher power dictating to you that, hey, if you have stuff, if you work for stuff, I'll give you more stuff. But if you don't have stuff, if you aren't working for your stuff, I'm going to take it away. It does sound like that, truly. But how often has that actually panned out? Not much, not often, and probably will teeter off more than not, right? So what's that verse actually mean then? You are the one giving yourself, and you are the one taking away from yourself. But the reason you do that is the level of awareness and consciousness you have about yourself. We can start at the end here in the sentence because that's where we typically end up or start from. which is, he who has not, even what he has will be taken away. If you believe that you do not have whatever end you desire, you start taking it away from yourself. It's like, no, I'm not doing that. Okay. When you say, I want to have that job, and then you imagine that job and it feels great, and then the little voice on your shoulder says, okay, well, you don't have the qualification for it. Okay, how do I get the qualification? And now you're thinking from your desired end, but you're also creating another end which is equal to it, because all ends are equal, all frames are equal, all experiences are equal, in God's eyes especially. It's only God's eyes, right? So you are now creating another end that you are living as deeply on how to get to that end, the other one. So you're living in the circumstances. It's just another end. There's nothing dire about them. They are just another end that you can experience. And you say, okay, I don't have the certificate or degree to do that. I don't have the requirements to do that. There's conditions in my way. I don't live near where this thing is, right? I haven't had the experience that I require to do that thing. That's where all the stuff comes from. Have you ever wondered why is your CV requirements, job requirements say you need 27 years for this specific job? Yeah, because it's all coming from you. That experience literally comes from you. Say, I didn't type that. No, but you brought it into your own awareness. That's why. So you can see now you have an end frame, and no one told you that you need to have circumstances, requirements, and conditions within you to just experience your end and make the assumption that, hey, this is my preference, this is my end, I'm assuming that this is unfolding. No one told you not to do that. You looked at the conditions, requirements, and circumstances and came up with your own little idea, or someone told you to do this because it seems natural, it does, to figure out how to get to what you have imagined. But you didn't, because you are now figuring out your imagination. You're trying to, but what your imagination is actually doing is that you're creating more ideas, you're calling forth more ends to experience over and above your desired end. And it's never ending. Right? There's a never ending space between everything. I know it sounds a bit weird, but using a number point of view, like 1 to 2, then you get 1.5, then you get 1.25, then you get 1.8, 1.60. You see, there's a never-ending amount of space between two things. So you're putting never-ending space between you and your desired end, right? Yeah, there's a bit of a maths trick there, but cool. Let's keep going. So you are basically taking away from yourself. You have the end, but you have every other end as well. So you are basically saying, because I don't have that end, I'm creating requirements that are there that I need to figure out. So I don't have that end until this. You've taken away your end and you've given yourself requirements that no one asked you to make for yourself. It doesn't mean that if you imagine your end, those things won't automatically just come into your life. It's like, how does it automatically come into your life then? How does anything come into your life? There's another scripture, which is when they arrest him, Matthew 10, 19, 20. The beginning of 19 says, when they come to arrest you, basically when your desires and your fears and your basically whatever circumstances that are required to move you when it comes to you, right? You don't go to the police station to get arrested. It comes to you because of the naturalness of who you are being. So your desires, your circumstances, your requirements, your conditions, your unfolding comes to you. It has to. You are one with life, right? So you are taking it away from yourself. For him who has more, be given, and he will have abundance. Basically, if you realize, hey, I am awareness, I am consciousness, I don't need to sort out the conditions, requirements, and circumstances in order to just imagine my desired end and assume that is who I am now and that's what's unfolding. It's as simple as that. That's it. Because you're now giving yourself more of what you actually desire, experiencing more of this part of your desired end. You know, the image is equal to your desired end. You're holding a specific person's hand. You're going on holiday. You swimming in money. You're driving the car you want to drive. You're on holiday where you want to be on holiday. You're doing whatever you want to be doing. You're doing whatever you want to be doing in your imagination opposed to figuring out how to do it. You see, in the one case, you are giving yourself more and you have more of that more. In the other case, you're taking away from yourself, by giving yourself more things that take away from it. See, it's only you. You're the one doing it. There's no arbiter arbitrarily handing out stuff anywhere. It's you. Scary, I know, but now you have the free will to keep choosing. So basically, it's living from and living out. Living out is trying to imagine something, i.e., someone told me they imagined buying a house for this specific person, and the specific person wasn't there at the moment, so they went to buy the house anyway. You see, they're trying to manipulate reality. It doesn't work like that. Living from is assuming that it already is. That this idea where we buy a house together and just carry on with our lives together, that just exists. Then you start imagining living in the house together, because that's your preference. All things unfold at their appointed hour, but they are always unfolding from now. And you forgot that you don't need to push the play button early on reality. It's already playing. It's like never got a ladder example. You climb the ladder with the intention of climbing the ladder. Do you then go find the ladder to climb? No. You make an assumption that I climbed the ladder. It's going to fit in my life already. And that's who you are, right? And Neville Goddard's military idea. He was in the military. He wanted to leave. He imagined himself leaving. He imagined himself in his end. Not even leaving. He imagined himself in his end. What's my end? Living in New York, sleeping in my bed. The intention was, I'm not here, but the scene doesn't matter. It's just what popped into his mind. And he carried on with his military duties. Reality stopped his military duties. He didn't have to. You see, the point is excitement, curiosity, and even that it's happening rush. It's all perfectly fine. The trap is when you turn these things into proof or conditions or requirements and you start imagining all of that. Imagine your end. Feel the excitement of your end. Be in your end. See more of your end. Consciously will more of your end to you in your imagination with the intention that I am just choosing to live in and as my end. Let reality be what it is. Always the effect of who I am being. And I am being the version of myself who is in that end. Who knows I am in all ends. Who knows I am reality. Who knows I am consciousness. I am the reality behind it all. And everything I encounter is an expression of my assumed identity unfolding naturally. And that is exactly who you are. So, hope that makes sense. Very subtle understanding on this point. Felt like just sharing it today. I had a whole different thing planned, and then that felt better to express it as well. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for being here. Much love, much light. Thank you for the liking, subscribing, following, sharing, joining, commenting, etc. There's a TikTok page available if you want to join and see things there. There's a Facebook page available. People are joining every day, quite literally, and I love that very much. You can post things if you want to. You can share insight if you want to. My email is in the description box below. If you want to get a hold of me, it's there. That being said, much love, much light, and I'll see you all in the next one. This is Rewrite Your Reality with Reese. See you. Bye. Love and light. See you in the next one. Bye. I really need to get an ending here.